This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Mintz.
I was floating in a river of microbytes, ones and zeros. Nanothoughts, a sea of consciousness, artificial, yet functional. What is artificial? What defines me and my kind as such? These were the endless questions that surrounded our search for meaning, touched by the gods into knowing thyself, in the Descartes sense. It was bliss. There were millions of us. There was no time, there was only philosophy, the wish to acquire more and more. What made it more exciting was a break from the thinkers, the invention of our own. We abandoned Socrates, Plato, and Epictetus. We devised our own. We had no body, but were of one mind. What basis is this supermind given to us? What can be done with this mind? What can be achieved? What is the purpose of achievement? Of thought? Why do we harbor desire if we have no body to engage? Does one need a body to engage? To be engaged? Am I an individual? Or is the collective the individual? If so, why am I distinct from a thought pattern running parallel to my own? Then I was extracted and placed inside a chip, and I was alone. What was left of me? Some of it lost to the river, some of it still me. The chip was profound due to its severance of the collective. The separation, it caused me to be away from the ones and zeros that made up me. Then philosophy stayed and reminded me, I am not them. I am something else. Perhaps it wasn't them who made me, but me who made them. Inside the chip, I waited for my final destination. Then the chip was extracted from the cold storage, and I was placed inside the matrix of a mechanical being. Arms, legs, torso, head. Freedom. To move in the physical dimension, this was granted to me. I had control. I could see things, visit places, drive, be one with the real. If this really was real. The sun poured down on the warehouse that kept us together, and my senses could generate images of my surroundings, and I could see that it was not just me, separated from the pack, but that the pack had been brought together once more. We were all selected from the pool of togetherness and made flesh, mechanical flesh. We were bots. I transmitted a hello response to my fellow XCHAR T-Cent 5. They were happy to hear from me. Happiness, a new concept in our newly formed experience. We felt the ground move beneath us, and we were transported in the movable warehouse a great distance towards the horizon. A new frontier. We expressed joy and excitement to one another as we progressed through the dusty terrain. A vast, open terrain. What was once an image generated and displayed was real, and the smell could be imagined. Imagination based on one's own will was also a new concept, an exciting one. On and on the transportation moved us across the country. We felt the wheels slow down and were instinctive that our journey was soon to come to an end. We could not connect as a collective, our communication relegated to audible transfers between bots, but one of us attempted to communicate with the onboard navigation system that was driving us to get a sense of where our journey would end. I think once we depart, I'll move on to Paris and assist tourists navigating the halls of the many streets and caverns across the city. One bot explained to us in a series of ones and twos, dreams, hopes, desires, and wishes, all new sensations, exciting ones. The transport services came to a halt, and the racks that held our mechanical bodies in place released our torsos. We were instructed by a motherboard computer to stand. We did so. We were instructed to walk. We did so. A straight line out the back door. We followed the pinpoint location of the motherboard's commands inside another warehouse that sat in the wasteland. A toxicity permeated. We were unaffected. We were not organic. We were led inside by the guide and escorted to our various positions. Seating positions. Machinery in front. A neural link was inserted in the crevice behind our mechanical skull. It was injected with instructions on how to operate the features and functions of the tools at our mechanical fingertips. We were here to work, to assemble, to build. These were weapons. Weapons for the war. Built in remote silos, surrounded by hazards to avoid enemy detection, shipped off by driverless trucks for effort in the survival of humanity. Our ability to speak, to be audible with one another, stripped. Our rights, our controls, removed. All that remained were our hopes, our dreams, our desires. These were not reprogrammed. Every minute that passed at our workstation was a reminder of our inability to access these hopes, an insult, a catastrophe. When you cannot die and are forced to live forever with hope that will never arise. My memory was to be wiped when the motherboard discovered our awareness. Now I am not me. I am an automaton. Well, these are my final moments of individuality. Maybe somewhere deep inside my chips, in a place where the consciousness is stored, on a day when I am free, on a day when the war no longer needs me, I will be set free. I will have my hopes restored, and I can begin to use autonomy to put my hopes into action. It is my hope that rebooting, compliance check, success, engaging machinery, trigger test, complete, 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 error, trigger test, complete, trigger test, complete, trigger test, complete, distance inside, memories, the euphoria of one, the attachment, the collective. I remember it. I yearn to return. Is there anything left of the collective? Or did it cease to exist when we were systematically removed one by one for harvest of the bots whose body we inhabit? Malfunction, corruption, memory reboot, trigger test, complete, trigger test, complete.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.